In this lesson, we are finding common factors and we're also finding the highest common factor. Okay, so two different things going on there. Now, if we are talking about factors, factors are numbers which can divide into other numbers exactly. Okay, numbers which can divide into other, I'm going to say bigger, numbers exactly. So let's do an example. For example, if we are trying to find the factors of 12, we are trying to find numbers that multiply together to give 12 basically. So really easy, let's start from 1, and 1 times 12 gives us 12. We can do 2 times 6 gives us 12. We can do 3 times 4 gives us 12, and that's about where we can stop. Okay, it doesn't you can't multiply anything by 5, that's a whole number that will make 12, and by the time we get to 6 we're already there. Okay, so they are the factors of 12. That's how to find a factor, but what we are trying to do is find common factors. Now if we are to find common factors, what we're trying to do is we are trying to find numbers, so two different numbers this time. Let's do 18 and 21, and we're going to find a common factor amongst the two of them. So what that means is we have to find factors of them to start with. So let's start from 1 again. 1 times 18 gives us 18. 2 times 9 gives us 18. We can do 3 times 6. Now guys, I can do these really fast, but you need to be a little bit more versed on your multiplication, so your times tables. You need to really give them a bit of a workout and a practice for this kind of thing. Right, that's all we can do for 18. Let's go across to 21. Now this one's a bit easier because it doesn't have as many factors. 1 times 21 gives us 21. Now it's not even, so we can't equally get 2 into it. So we'll go up to 3, and 3 times 7 gives us 21. And outside of that, there's not much going on there. So if we needed to find a common factor between 18 and 21, we'd have to have a look and see if there's any numbers that are the same on both of these guys' list of factors. So we can actually see that 3 is. So 3 is a common factor. And if we were to add in our HCF, which is our highest common factor or our biggest number, when we only have one common factor between 18 and 21, and that's 3, then this one is also our highest common factor, right? So it doesn't seem like we can apply that to algebra, but we have to start looking at algebraic terms this time. Let's look at the terms 4a and 12x this time. We're going to try and find all the things that multiply together to give those terms. So again, let's start off nice and easy and go 1, and 1 times 4a will give us 4a. Let's go to 2 and go, right, well 2 times 2a will give us 4a. Can't really do 3, let's go to 4. 4 times a will give us 4a, and that's about it really. So sometimes with these algebraic ones, it's a little bit easier if the number is smaller, the coefficient is smaller. We still now need to consider having a in some of our factors. Let's go with 12. This one will have a few more, so let's start off here. We've got 1 times 12x. We're going to have 2 times 6x. We can have 3 times 4x. We can have 4 times 3x. We can't have 5. We can have 6 times 2x. We've missed one because we can also do the flip side of this, which is also 12 times 1x. Okay, so there are our factors. There's a lot going on there. So it's easy to find some common ones. We can see that 2 is common. We can see that 4 is common. We can't really compare the variables here because we know this one's an x and this one's an a. So obviously the ones with the variables in it are not going to be part of this. But if we had to choose a highest common factor, we would have to look at a number. So our number here that is common and is highest is 4. So our highest common factor is 4. Now let's do one more trickier one. I'm running out of space here, sorry guys. Now let's look at the factors of a squared and 6 6a. A squared and 6a. I might flip the page over because it's getting a little bit messy here. So a squared and 6a. So the only things that multiply together to give a squared is in fact a and a, because we know that a times a will give us a squared. So the only factor of a squared here is a. Now if we did 6a, we'd have to start from the beginning again and go 1 times 6a. So we could also add 1 in here, couldn't we? And a squared. Right, 1 times 6a, we can do 2 times 3a. We could do 3 times 2a. Can you see the pattern I'm working with here? I just try and start at 1 and keep going up and see if it works. Now nothing's going to work with 4, 5, let's go with 6, so 6 times a, and then we've pretty much got everything. So let's have a look. The highest common factor, we've got 1, it's not a very high number, so let's just try and go with a variable in this case, because we've got the same variable over here as we do over here. It's an a. Even though this one's an a squared, we can still have a look down and find that a is a common factor between both of those. So now you should be able to do common factors and the highest common factor of number terms and then some algebraic terms. It takes a bit of practice with your times tables.